So look at these two things here, right?
Okay.
Now, on the left-hand side, on the left-hand side you see a picture, right? Don't you? What do you see there? What do you see there? Oh, you can hold this little microphone.
Okay.
But you can put it on your shirt like that.
A lady.
Not so close, not so close. Put
I
it a little bit
see.
further.
I actually don't know what I see.
I see like a lady with like something behind her.
I see a lady with
Okay, is
fluffy
she
black
young
hair.
or old?
Young.
Okay, there's actually two women there.
How?
But you can only see the young lady, right?
Yeah.
See, your perception is only that you can see only one, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you look closely on her neck, what has she got?
A
She's on
slit.
here.
No.
No.
Hair on her neck?
Look at her neck. There's like a
her
slit in
neck?
between it.
A slit.
There's like a black line.
Okay, let's supposing that it was in fact someone else's mouth.
Is this even working?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I see it.
I don't.
Now you see something?
No.
You
I
see
do.
you see something else.
I don't
you see
see
an
it.
older lady.
Now I see an older lady with
Right.
something on her head.
Right. See, by giving you the little piece of information, that changed things, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So, how about mathematics?
Oh no. 1,000 plus 40.
It's
And
140.
1,040. Now add another 1,000. 2,040.
1,000 plus 40, not and 40.
Yeah, so
No, it's
what's
adding,
1,000
it's adding.
and 40.
Oh.
Yeah, now add another 1,000, 2,040, add 10, 2,050, 1,000 more, 3,050, add 40, 3,090. Now add 10 more, 4,000,
Okay,
4,000.
so the most common wrong answer is 4,000.
No, okay, hold on.
How?
Well,
1,000.
that's exactly what I'm trying to catch on camera.
1,000.
That look on your face when you're told you're wrong and you think, I couldn't be wrong, I know I'm right.
Yeah, but how's that wrong? I don't get it.
How's it wrong? You see, that's my point.
Wait, what is the point of this?
Well, look, supposing you have a different opinion and you think you're right, okay? And then someone says you're wrong, and then they point out where you're wrong, would you accept that?
Yeah,
Okay, so what is 1,000 plus 40?
1,040,
Now add another 1,000.
2,040,
No problem. Add 10.
2,050,
Correct. 1,000 more.
3,050,
Correct. Now add 40.
3,090.
Correct. Okay, now
Now
add 10.
add 10 more, 4,000.
Really? So 3,090 plus 10 is 4,000.
3,100.
Now, do you see the point?
I get it
I
now.
don't get it.
She went from 3,090 to 4,000. She added like 910.
Do you get it?
Oh, I get it.
Now, it's okay having a different perception and view on this, right? But when it comes to mathematics, there should
Just
be
a
no
bit slow.
debate. There should be no debate.
Yeah,
Okay?
I know.
And what the man said to me earlier on is, do you respect my religion? I said, no, because I believe it's a falsehood. Just like if someone said to you, what's your
religion are
opinion?
you?
Well, I would be Christian.
Okay.
Okay? So when Jesus said in the scriptures that he is the way, the truth, and the life, no one comes to the Father except only through himself, then any other way is false.
Mm-hmm.
Or else he's wrong.
Yeah.
It's either one or the other. It can't be both. Okay? So when Islamic say, well, we believe that Muhammad is the last prophet and that you have to believe on him in order to go to paradise, I said that's not correct. Either that or Jesus is not correct. One of the two. They can't both be right. Okay?
Yeah.
So he was saying he's a Muslim and his girlfriend is a Christian. I thought, okay, so one of them is wrong. That's simple as that. Now, can I ask you 3 quick questions? Are you ready for them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Put 'em
here's
in
where.
my mouth as well.
Ready? Number 1, do you believe that there is a God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by God, what do you actually mean?
Wait, what?
By saying, I believe there's a God. What is God like?
The person that lives in heaven.
The person that lives in heaven?
No.
Like the man.
The man?
There's something.
Right?
There's something that. No, something that you have faith and believe in.
Well, you can have faith and believe in a bridge, an airplane, a chair.
It's not a person. It can be anything.
So it's God could be anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, most people, when asked that question, would say, the creator of all things. That's what most people say.
Yeah.
But you're saying, no, it could be anything.
Yeah, because there's no proof that.
What?
No.
Well, okay, so
God can
if,
be anything because if he wants to be.
could that be God?
Yeah.
So you could be, that bar there could have created the whole universe?
No.
No? Okay. So when I say God, I ask people what they mean by God, because they could say, well, it could be anything. That could be God. My cat could be God, right? So I have to ask them that in case they say, oh, I believe in God. But what do you actually mean by God? Is anything, and what you would think is
Someone.
someone. Someone who lives in heaven. So it could be your grandmother who lives in heaven. I don't know.
I don't get it. Like,
Okay, most people would say, a being that has always existed that created all things. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we really mean by God. Okay.
Yeah.
So the second question then is, do you have a soul?
Yes.
Yes.
And what is the soul? Just in case we're on a different wavelength
Something
there
that
as well.
comes out of the body when you die.
Something comes out of your body when you die could be lots of
Your
things.
spirit. Your soul is like your spirit. When you die, your spirit.
Well, I don't know what comes out of the body when people die, but I'm sure not just the soul. But what is the soul, I'm asking?
Your spirit.
What is that?
Your presence.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. It could be an invisible,
Yeah.
unseen, non-material thing that exists in you and after you die. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Part of your personality, etc., etc. Okay, now we're on to the third and final question, unless you want to go to the bonus round. Okay? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Third one is, where do you think you would go if you were to die?
If I was what?
To die.
Oh, heaven.
I would go into
But into a coffin, or
Your body would go into a coffin, but you said you had a soul.
my spirit.
so my soul would go to heaven
Okay, and you would say?
I would probably.
or hell.
Okay, so you believe there's a heaven and a hell. And
Yeah.
why do you suppose that in fact, you're saying you'd go to heaven. Why? Why is that?
Because you're not a bad
Because
person.
where else am I meant to go?
Well, you said there was a hell.
Yeah, but that's if I was a bad person.
How do you determine who's the good and who's the bad? And who's the ugly?
Because
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
depending on how you've lived your life before
Okay.
you die.
Okay, supposing you were like a thief and a robber.
No, because
People can change.
people can change.
Well, what if they died as a thief and a robber?
But then they probably go to hell.
Well,
Yeah.
what about, I don't know if you're familiar with the New Testament. There were two thieves on the either side of Jesus when he died,
Yeah.
and both of them died as robbers, basically.
Yeah.
But when they were dying, they were both shouting things at Jesus and saying, who do you think you are? You could get us off these crosses. If you really were God, if you really were the Messiah, you could get us off these crosses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then one of them said to the other thief, don't you even fear God? Seeing that we're under the same condemnation and we're getting what we deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong. Where did he suddenly get that information from, that he suddenly says to his other friend, don't you even fear God? He's starting to preach to him. Don't you even fear God? There's a change that's come over him, right?
Yeah.
And he said, we're under the condemnation which we deserve. But he said, this man has done nothing wrong. He's referring to
Oh,
and then he
This doesn't
hold on a
work.
second. It doesn't, it's not me, it's recording. It's recording. It's not making
Oh.
a sound, okay? So give her that a second. So listen, if at the last minute he said to Jesus, Lord, remember me when you enter into your kingdom. There's a lot in that statement.
Yeah.
As he said, Lord, referred to him as Lord, and he also recognized that Jesus had a kingdom, and he said, remember me when you enter into your kingdom. What did Jesus say to him? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what he said to him?
No.
He said, assuredly, I say to you, this day you will be with me in paradise.
Okay.
Okay, where do you think he is today?
Who?
That man,
In paradise.
right? Because
Because God told him.
Jesus told him directly.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't join a church. He didn't have to get baptized.
No.
He didn't have to go and live a better life and prove that he was a better person.
Yeah.
He just had his trust in what Jesus said to him, right?
Yes.
Now, that's written in the Bible so that we could have a confidence like that and say, well, if that thief could make it to heaven, could I? If I put my trust in Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
See? So it's not about whether you're good or bad at the end of the day. It's whether, because your goodness will never be good enough.
Oh.
Sorry to tell you. You know, the Bible actually says this, that our own righteousness, the good deeds that we've done, are just like filthy rags in God's sight compared to the perfect goodness of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But what if Jesus was to give you his goodness as a gift and said, there you go, all that I've ever done, you can have it. And you can stand before God with my goodness instead of your own.
Yeah.
Then you would be accepted before God.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. The gospel is that instead of saying, well, I think I'm a good person, I think I wouldn't go to hell because I'm such a good person, you would say, I don't deserve heaven, but thank God that Jesus came and died in my place.
Yeah.
Took my sin and gave me his righteousness so that I could trust in him and his righteousness to be saved. That's what you need.
Okay.
You realize that?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you this because maybe you don't know it. Look, have you ever been on a journey before?
A journey to what?
Well, anywhere.
Yes, I have. I've
Take
been on
that,
lots
take
of
that.
journeys.
Take that. Okay, good
Shut
for
up!
you.
Stop being so mean.
He doesn't understand things. That's all.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
okay. No, listen. If, for example, you were to go on a journey, right? You wouldn't just turn up at the airport and say, "I was just thinking I'd just like go to Spain." You have to book, and what else do you have to have?
You have to have money, passport.
What else? Passport, documents, etc., etc.
Experience,
Visas, perhaps that as well.
insurance.
Okay, that's for a journey, maybe going to somewhere like Spain. What if you're going off into the unknown, like you die and leave this world, okay? Your body dies, your soul leaves your body, and you're going on a journey. Do you know where you're going?
No, you don't.
Well, you can know.
Well, I don't know.
Well, because we're told in the Bible this, it is appointed unto men to die once, and after this there comes a judgment. We're going to face judgment when we die. So the thing is, would you be ready for that? Have you prepared for the journey? That's what that leaflet is about, which you've got called The Fool, about a king who hadn't prepared for a journey. And I'm telling you how you can prepare for that. Be ready and always ready to go anytime. So that, hey, if it happened to be today, you'd be ready to go because you'd be right with God. See? That's the whole point. Charlie's Ants is a different story. That's about a kid who wanted to save a bunch of ants, but he couldn't communicate because he couldn't speak their language, right? And the tiny little things. It's kind of like showing you how God is so mighty and big, and we're so small, minute things on the earth. How does God communicate a message to us? So you can read that. Oh well, if it's of good quality, because I recorded one yesterday and it didn't record at all the sound.
I give you permission to post it.
That's okay. It's a public place, you see, anyway. But it's going to be on our YouTube channel, which is called Living Rock Church Killarney.
Perfect.
And you can check it up if you like. Check into it. But we meet all kinds of people from Tralee, and you might see some of your friends. And what are your names?
Morgan.
Morgan. Guten Morgen.
Naomi.
Naomi. Okay, I read about Naomi today. Naomi in the Bible. Very good. Right, so check it out. Morgan, are you originally Irish? From an Irish background? Turkish. Irish, Turkish. Well, you don't meet too many people from Turkey, but there's sometimes one or two walking around. It's nice to meet them. Because there's a lot of turkey mentioned in the Bible. Did you know that?
No.
And I don't mean the animal variety.
No.
Right, there's a place called Turkey where the gospel was preached in the 1st century by the Apostle Paul. Massively impacted Turkey. That's why there's probably a lot of Christians in Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay, well thanks for stopping.
No problem.
You want to do a questionnaire?
I learned more after you than my religion teacher.
Well, that's good to know. You say that again for the camera? I gotta get that.
I learned more off you than my religion teacher.
Well, do you ever ask questions in religion class?
No, she's not a nice person.
Oh, she's not a good person or a nice person?
I hope she sees it.
Well, she might see it, but you never know. Maybe she's trying her best.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
And you can ask questions and say, oh, well, I would have expected answers from you now. Maybe you need to go and do your homework.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Subscribe.
Okay,
Subscribe and like the video.
Hello there. Do you want to answer a few questions? I'm sure you would love to be on camera. Yeah, well, you dress for the occasion, not too much bright light. Okay, stand back a little bit then.
Okay.
Can you see these two boards here? Okay, so the first one is, you can hold this little microphone, flip it onto there. Yeah, sure. Work. Now, obviously, the question is, this is for fun. Don't be taking it too serious, okay? What do you see there?
A lady.
A lady?
One, yes.
Okay, which one do you see?
A lady pivoting to her right. She's kind of
A young
looking
lady?
up. Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And you don't see anything else? Maybe stand back a bit. Maybe the glasses?
Maybe.
Okay. Do you need glasses? Or is that just for...
No, I don't need glasses. I have good vision.
Okay. Okay, yes.
Oh,
You see, some people would say there are two women there.
that's interesting. Hold on.
What do you say? Stand together. Maybe you're
what do you
a
think?
couple. Maybe you're a couple. I don't know.
No, we're not.
No.
You saw the young lady, right?
Is it bad that I can't see?
No.
I see the second one.
Right.
How do you see it?
You see an older lady, right?
I see the old and the young one.
Yeah, right.
So.
Do you see the old man? Maybe if I stand here. You don't see the old man, no?
Old man, no.
No. I was trying to say I'm the guy.
Oh.
Well, thank you.
Calling you young, in other words.
Yeah. Okay. So do you see where the mouth? Do you see where the necklace of the young lady is?
Yes.
She has. That's a necklace, isn't it? A choker, they call it.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it's actually the mouth of somebody else. You see the mouth of somebody else?
Do you see her?
Do you see her? Right there is the mouth. That is the mouth. You see it? There's the nose, two eyes, the hair, the chin.
Oh.
Now, do you see what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
You have to have a, you have to ask people so they can say what they see, because everyone has different views on things. Now, it's a different story when it comes to mathematics, because here's a question, and see how well you do with that. You don't have to be an expert in mathematics, because I had one of the maths teachers that I teach that he got it wrong.
Oh, really?
Classic failure. And then two accountants told me that I was wrong when they were wrong.
Are you serious? Oh my god.
So it's not, and I've had 12-year-old kids getting it right first time, so there you go.
Oh my god.
I'm guessing you're over 15.
Yes, yeah. 17.
There you go. Interesting.
Okay.
All right. So what do you think the answer to that question is there?
Okay.
Read it out loud, maybe it'll help.
3090.
1 and 40 and 40. Well, it's 1,000, but I'll add 0 later. Then you have
Okay.
240, then you have 250, then you have 350, then you have 390,
Okay.
then you have 4,000.
Now, see, that's strange because that's not normally how people read. When they read, what is 1,000 plus 40?
1040.
Correct. Add another 1,000.
2040.
Okay. Now add 10.
2050.
Correct. Okay. 1,000 more.
2050.
Right. And 40.
2090.
Correct. Up to this point, 3,090. Right. Plus 10.
4000.
Really?
Oh!
Did I say?
You said 4,000 as well.
Oh.
Now,
3100. Oh.
right. Do you see what I'm trying to catch on camera on that particular one is the reaction of people who are convinced that they are right when they are wrong. Okay?
Yeah.
And then they go, how could I be so dumb? Well, it's just that most people make that mistake. No. Perception is one thing.
Yes.
Opinions are one thing. But when it comes to mathematics, you can't very well walk into a bank and say, well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or in an maths exam, So I'm using this as a simple little springboard to ask other questions, right?
Okay.
Such as, and this is to get people's opinion on religious matters.
Okay.
So you understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
Right. So if I was to ask, you don't have to answer these questions, but there's 3 simple questions where I ask everybody. So you can watch the videos and you can see I'm asking the same thing of everybody else. First question is, do you believe that there is a God?
No.
Okay.
I do, yeah.
You do. And I have to ask you what you mean by God before going any further.
Just like a higher being.
A higher being, and you don't believe that there's a higher being. Okay. So a higher being. Now, because I talked to one girl earlier, and she said that could be God. That bar, that could be God. A cat could be God. And then I said, well, most people seem to say that God, they mean by God, they define God as a being that has always existed and who created all things. That's what classically people mean. And you believe that such a being exists. Yeah? You say no. So that's interesting. Okay. Second question is, do you have a soul? You can answer this. He has the microphone, but you want to?
Yeah,
hold it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never mind.
Well, hold it between the two of you. How's that? So you have a soul?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I thought about it, but no.
okay. So then we have to also define what we mean by soul. What is soul?
Yeah.
Just your energy
Energy.
that links us all.
Okay. And you? You don't have energy that links us all.
I do have energy. I just don't know if I would consider
The
it
same energy.
soul, like anything to do with religion.
Okay, well, I didn't say it was. I'm just saying that I'm just trying to get the definitions. So most people would say it is an immaterial part of you, okay? Whether you call it spirit or soul, that's irrelevant. It's just something that is immaterial. Your personality, like, what is your name, by the way?
Ray.
Ray. Supposing you walked into a party and said, Ray's here, the life and the soul of the party. What do they mean?
Like the energy, the vibe, like.
Right. And there's soul music. You've heard of that before. Now, I did talk to somebody in the store, and I asked him, do you have a soul? And he said, oh, yes. Oh, yes. Anyone who has got 2 feet has a soul. And I thought, we need to really define what we mean by soul here.
Yeah.
Right. So it's usually meant by your personality A part of you that is immaterial, however, that even you could say lives on after you die. That's what a lot of people say soul is, right? So the third question, and you can stop here, or you can go into the bonus round if you like. Third question is, what do you think happens to you when you die? Like the soul, where do you think the soul goes, or what happens to it? You may not have an answer to this one, seeing you might not be sure.
No, I have thought about it. I don't
Okay.
think anything happens. I think we
Okay.
just, as like anything else, like any other animals, I think we just rot. I think it's just
Okay.
a decomposition
But you can't.
of the body.
A soul can't rot, though, can it? If it's immaterial,
Okay.
right? So I agree with you 100%. Your body will rot,
Yeah.
or be fed to the birds or the fish, whatever. But your soul can't rot.
Okay.
Okay. And when we said soul, that's why I wanted to define that, because it cannot rot away. So where do you think? What do you think goes? What happens to this soul?
Well, yeah, your body rots, but like your soul carries on.
Okay.
Just,
Any idea where it might go or what happens
No,
next?
just-
No idea.
It carries on somewhere.
Okay, that's a lot of common sort of views that I've got. Okay, I personally got more to say on that.
Yeah.
For example, I would tell people maybe there's a few blanks that are missing from your understanding, such as, well, I go by what the Bible teaches, and it says it is appointed unto man to die once, which is true, and after this there's the judgment, which is pretty good to think about, that there will be judgment for all the wicked and evil things that have been done in this world. Because if there isn't, then people would say, I might as well do whatever I want, because, hey, nothing's going to happen anyway, I'll just die. Right?
Yeah.
Now, could I just pick up on one point?
Yeah.
So when you say you don't believe that there's a God, would you put yourself in the classification of an atheist?
Yes, it would.
Because there's a lot of people who think that they are atheists who are not. Okay. An atheist falls into two categories generally. Okay. Number one, ones who make absolute statements such as there is no God, and category two, I do not believe that there's a God. Which one of those do you think you'd fall into?
Like, I don't know everything. Like, so
I know that.
One cannot say that there is. I think it is very opinionated.
Okay.
Thus, one cannot make an absolute and adequate statement that
There is no God.
There is no God. However, I don't believe it, and thus in my life there is no God.
Okay,
I'd
so
like to put it that way.
you're one who has a belief that there's no God. There is another category, and that's the agnostic, who says, I don't know whether there is a God. I'm looking for evidence, and yet no evidence is sufficient for them anyway. They just said, I just don't believe it. And that's just an interesting point of view, because maybe that person, just a lot of people who said, I do not wish there to be a God, because if there is, then I would be held accountable for everything I've done in this life, and I don't want there to be someone to be accountable to. That's the way it generally works. Okay, so that's all. I'm just sharing that with you. Okay, we could go further, but I don't want to detain you any longer unless you have further questions.
No, I don't really know.
No, you don't know. Would you want to know what happens to you when you die? For sure.
I like the mystery of it.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people who just want to remain in the dark, as it were. But why should you when there's so much light available? Have you ever read any of the Gospel of John?
Not Gospel of John, no.
Well, I would encourage you to read it. You can take one if you like.
Yeah, I would.
I'm not forcing it
Thanks.
upon people,
Okay.
but if you want to say, hey, I want some, because if someone comes up to you, Ray, right, and says, hey, Ray, hooray, who, Ray, yeah, and they ask you, have you ever read any of the Bible? Let's say, for example, I met a Muslim and he says, I don't believe the Bible. I go, okay, but have you ever read any of it? No. How do you then say you don't believe it? In your case, if someone came up to you and said, Ray, have you ever read any of the Bible? What would you say?
Not that I've read it, but I went to a Catholic primary school, and in general, the area that I lived in was heavily Christian influenced. So a lot of their ethoses and just belief sets were implemented within my childhood. However, I never, like, just the main beliefs. Now I do absolutely appreciate, like, I think there are universal things in Christianity, like, you know, love your neighbor, be kind to every soul, and all that.
That
And
works for everybody.
Absolutely, it's non-negotiable. I just think
Ethics, that's
yeah,
ethics.
it's nearly different, but I just have, like, my family has never been raised Christian. I've never really fallen into it, so thus I've never read the Bible.
Well, I say it because if someone asked you what your opinions are, you wouldn't have an opinion. But if you had read even the smallest amount, like take one of these Gospels of John and said, I read one chapter of it, you could at least have some sort of a response and for the future. And you could say, well, you know what? I have actually read one chapter or one book, and I have a little bit of an opinion, and it gives you something, something to go on. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So thanks for stopping.
Thank
And
you. What's your channel name?
okay, yes, or something. It's actually called Living Rock Church Killarney. If you look it up, you'll see it on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
And what I do is you'll find all kinds of characters that I've talked to in Tralee and get their feedback. And some people are really concerned about these things. Other people, it doesn't really bother them at this point in time. Like I was 17-year-old when I became a Christian. That's why when you said you're 17, I said, oh, interesting. I was 17. I wasn't looking for God. Absolutely not. It wasn't on the radar at all. But that's what I meet all the time. People who said, I'm not looking for God. Well, I know that. The Bible says there's none who seek after God. But what if God is the one who comes seeking after you when you weren't even looking for him and says, gotcha. See, that's what generally happens, And I was 17, crawling out of a pub, wasn't looking for God. I was drunk. When I arrived back in my driveway of my parents' house, I just thought, what if I had died in someone's garden tonight? Because I was like crawling through gardens. What if I had died tonight? What would have happened to me? And I started thinking about this for the first time. No one was telling me this. I was just thinking about, what if, and what is there? I'd like to know. And then I started getting a little fearful of, what if it's the God that the Bible describes, that I've been told from my childhood, that there's a judgment to face, and he's a holy God? Well, I'm in trouble. So that's began a process for me of looking for answers.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay, well, thanks for stopping, Ray, and what is it?
Tara.
Tara. Very Irish name. Where's that microphone? I've got it. Okay, some people walked away with the microphone.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yes, and they're going, okay, no problem at all. Okay, thanks.